Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Counsellor Convos. I am delighted to have Bishop Fintan Monahan with me today. Fintan, let's get stuck into it. A massive thing is forgiveness, Fintan. Forgiveness, that is, that in itself, when it comes to my private practice and people helping themselves, forgiveness of themselves, first of all, and other people is massive. I'm sure you'll have a lot to say about forgiveness.
The lovely tradition, and it's often said that we do death well in Ireland in the sense that we have wakes, the community gathers, the gatherings and celebrate in song and ritual and belief that there is an afterlife, and that gives a great sense of that people it's not over, that they will meet again. And that's a time-honored tradition, in Christianity, going back for 2,000 years, and our people have embraced that and developed it so much. And that is a great support to people at difficult times.
Yeah.
But even looking at it from the broad, psychological or psychiatric point of view, I often read the Irish Times, and people like Patricia Casey, Professor of Psychiatry, Professor Brendan Kelly, would write about the benefits of spirituality as well as mental health, as well as physical health, all of those things combined. Or even on a broader level, Jordan Peterson, who is a fantastic blogger, would talk about that as well, not so much from the Christian point of view, but from embracing all of religions. There are many other examples of that.
And that even when you say that embracing other religions, it's just so refreshing with that. Like, I know when I was growing up, that you only taught one religion, and because you weren't taught any other religion, you were taught to believe, well, this is the only one. And then I kind of felt like a bit of an idiot when I went off to drama college in Dublin, and I find out that there's other religions, and it was, whereas now, like, it has changed so much, the church, and for the better. Fintan, I was only thinking to myself this morning, if Fintan was running a mass down the road here, I'd go to that mass, and I haven't been to mass for many years, Fintan. That's the thing about being open-minded, and again, we need all to change with the times. We need to understand mental health, and exactly what you said, that instead of coming from a place of judgment or stigma, to come from a place of helping with the root cause, helping with who can help with this. And I love that. When we spoke yesterday, you were so quick to say that when I was asked about how would you help somebody who was struggling with their mental health, you were like, I chat to them, I show them compassion, but I'd also be helping them to think, who can they speak to? What professional can they go to? I think that's so important that we recognise that, that some of us are limited in the amount of help we can get. Like, I'm not a doctor, so if somebody needs physical health, they need to then go and see a doctor who has those skills. That we need to kind of make sure that we don't make it about us, and we look at what does this person actually need.
And for so many people, just to listen, to have somebody to attentively with an open mind to hear what their stories are. And I think so many people are in a more challenging space post-COVID because of, I suppose, the loneliness that was there. Even though in the modern world we live in, there's so many gadgets to connect and so many ways to do that. Sense of the loneliness of living in a city and not knowing your next door neighbour. Whereas in rural Ireland, it might be totally different, everybody else. But that sense of isolation, and we'll say during COVID, the 2 years of lockdown, that would have had quite a challenging effect on so many elderly and young. And the effects of that are probably being manifest now, and many people experiencing much more difficulties and challenges. And I suppose the big message that everybody would try to give at a sad funeral or anything would be that there is always hope, that there's always somebody to reach out to, that there's always help available, and to never fall into a sense of despair, no matter how difficult things are. That there's always a way out. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. So you're always trying to bring people along that line, in terms of
Yeah.
better space,
Yeah, absolutely. That hope is so important, Fintan. That when somebody is in that black hole, it may feel it's never ending. At that time, it feels like that for them. I totally get that. I've been in that place myself. So it's to have somebody that can offer that hope, but not undermine how they're feeling. It was actually a client of mine, and I asked permission to share this, and he said it was fine to do that. That he was telling me the way that he'd been to another therapist and the therapy wasn't going anywhere. And the therapist was saying to me, look, it's almost like I'm throwing you down the ladder and I need you to come up a couple of steps up the ladder to meet me halfway. And this just didn't work for this guy. And then he was explaining to me, and I totally get that. He was more or less saying to me, the difference with you, Sheila, is that you came right down to the bottom of the ladder and you sat with me in that dark hole, which is exactly what I did do. And believe you me, there was months where I was thinking, not sure if this is working or not, but you know what? He keeps coming back, so I'm going to stay in that dark hole with him. And eventually it starts to shift. Eventually. And that's sometimes people don't realize that sometimes people need to be okay with not being okay. I'm always banging on about this, Fintan, but it is so true that people, they don't need to be forced into now solutions. This is how we'll fix it. No. Sometimes they need to be in a dark place, whether that's grief, delayed grief, loss. You said about the knock-on effects of the pandemic. I'm really seeing it now, the after effects, because people were on survival mode. Now they're feeling the after effects. And some of them can't make sense of what's going on. But actually, some of it is delayed loss, delayed grief, delayed, that actually, when you do take space to talk about it, it kind of makes sense when people are stuck in a rut. And that thing of having somebody to be with you, but not forcing you, not just connecting with you and just being there, sitting beside you, even if you're saying nothing. The fact of somebody just being there, it's massive. And I must compliment the church in that way that when I explore support with different clients and where they get the support from, that oftentimes they'll say it's that pastor, it's the clergyman, it's somebody that's taking the time just to be with them, that has made a huge difference for them.
I think that there's one thing that you said there, that phrase of it's okay not to be okay. And I think in schools now, the importance of mental health is being emphasized hugely. And that point is so often made to young people, be it in primary or secondary school, that I suppose the modern world and the advertising and everything, things are presented in an ideal way and everything is successful and
Happy days!
Exactly. But that isn't the reality of
it's not,
a lot of the time. And the harsh reality is that people struggle an awful lot of the time. And that phrase that you have, it's okay not to be okay, and to recognize that and to be able to share that with other people, that we don't live in an absolutely ideal world, and that there are so many other aspects to it as well, and to have the resilience and the strength. There's one of the Psalms there that has a great image of the watchman waiting for daybreak. And they often say that the last hour of the night is the darkest. But always there's that sense of hope that the sun will rise the next day. Images like that from scripture are hugely helpful. Or even the practice of mindfulness, Christian meditation, prayerfulness, that sense of the presence of God. If somebody has that sense of the awareness of the presence of God, it makes a huge qualitative difference to their life. And you see it so much when people that are in hospital, be it in a psychiatric hospital or in mainstream hospital, if they're struggling with diseases, and a priest, when they go around to them to bring Holy Communion or confession or whatever, if they've that sense of the relationship with God, it makes a huge difference to be able to cope with the cross that they have,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Fintan. There was something you said about the messages and about the images. I had a look on your Facebook page, And I was delighted to see there was a bit of humour in there, Fintan. And there was a post that you'd put up, something about having trouble sleeping. Come to our church service at 10 a.m. And you'd said, oh, this is somebody with obviously with a sense of humour. Now, what you mightn't know, Fintan, right, is that my background is in stand-up comedy. And one of my comedy characters is Sister Mary. And Sister Mary actually did a gig there before Christmas. I did half the gig with Sister Mary just to have a bit of a laugh, you know. And to be fair, I did Sister Mary in front of an audience that were actually nuns before, and they enjoyed it. And I thought, if anybody has an issue with this being PC and all that, if it's good enough for nuns, it's good enough for the general public. And I shared some church bulletins, and I'd like to share with you, Fenton, if that's okay. So one of the bulletins is, so there's like a church signs, and these were actual signs where they didn't realise how it was coming across. So the first sign read, "This sermon this morning, Jesus walks on water. This sermon next week, searching for Jesus." Then we had other ones that said, "Don't let worry kill you off. Let the church help." Then we have, "At the evening service tonight, the sermon topic will be, what is hell? Come early and listen to our choir practice." But do you think God has a sense of humour, Fenton?
Oh no, totally, totally. There's a Jesuit priest called James Martin, and he's written a book about mirth and humor and the whole sense of mature religion is it should be able to laugh at oneself and laugh at the sense of humor that is in life, which is so much a God-given reality and so important, and it's one of the things that keeps us going in so many ways.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I agree with you.
It is. It's like, I know that humour definitely kept me going. As a young child, it was a massive coping mechanism for me, and it's continued throughout my life. You know what I mean? No apologies for doing comedy and combining the two. Because I think humour is so important, and for us not to take ourselves too seriously, I think that's a massive part of our mental well-being. One of the things I really wanted to share that again, comes from religious backgrounds is the serenity prayer. Is about when people do far too much and they're trying to control too much, and they have got people pleasing behaviors, and they've got very high expectations. And that serenity prayer about accepting, the things that you can't change, the courage to change the things that you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That prayer certainly has helped me throughout my life, and has helped a lot of people. And the thing is, even if you're not a church follower, that's okay too. That you can just still put that out there, grant me to serenity, to the universe, or whatever you believe in, that and I suppose that's an important point, that it's some people, they follow the church, some people don't, and that's okay. What do you think, Quentin?
Yeah, that prayer, I love it too, and it's
Yeah.
the standard prayer from the Alcoholics Anonymous. It's
Yeah.
and so many people that go to Alcoholics Anonymous may not have any link at all with religion, but it's something that people would embrace, that sense of wisdom and acceptance and serenity and calmness, which is at the heart of meditation and contemplation, which is again the heart of religion.
Yeah.
Little mantras, little prayers like that, or even in our Christian tradition, a lovely prayer like the Rosary, where you have the beads and you have the repetition and the ritual that is there. And it calms you, it settles you, it gives you a sense of that there is something greater than yourself, that there is a God out there that is caring, sustaining, giving life and that. So to have the perspective of that and the objective sense of that, it adds so much to the quality of one's life and mental well-being and happiness, I think.
Do you know something, Fintan? You're infectious. That's what you are. You're infectious. I mean, I went to a Catholic primary school. I went to a Catholic boarding school run by Salesian nuns. I'm sure they'll be very proud of me here having a conversation with you. And, wow, Fintan, honestly, if you were doing a mass now down the road, I'd go, Fintan, I would. And that's credit to yourself. So if there's anybody that is listening here and that they are struggling with their mental health, and let's say they're feeling guilty, they're thinking, oh, I should be enjoying my life and I'm not, and I've insulted God because he has given me life and I can't seem to appreciate it. And what would you say to them, Fintan?
Well, I suppose that you've referred to it a number of times. Like, it's kind of echoing in my mind, that sense of hope. And the other word that you said, that sense of mercy, that no matter what we do, that God is merciful, kind, compassionate, and caring. But that sense of hope, and internationally in the church next year, there's going to be a year of focus on hope, that there is always hope. And having that sense of faith gives you that. So I just encourage people to be people of faith, hope, and love. I think that sums it all up in many
There
ways.
you go, Fintan. Faith, hope, and love. Well, there you go. There you go, Fintan. Thank you so much for taking the time for us to have a chat today. For people listening, please feel free to put any comments. So this is going to go out on my YouTube channel, Sheila's YouTube channel, but you can actually see us in person having the chat. Fintan, I'm going to put you on the spot here now, okay? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm planning to do another suicide prevention talk again in Ennis, probably at the West County Hotel, probably around April time. Now, it won't be Easter Sunday, because I'm guessing you're going to be busy on Easter Sunday. Just a hunch I have here, Fintan, But I'm wondering, if you're available, will you come to the talk?
Oh, absolutely. If I'm available, I'd be more than happy to do so. That time of the year tends to be the between Easter and confirmation time, so it might be.
No.
But if I'm free at all.
Do you know what, Fintan? We'll have a chat and we'll have a look at our diaries and see if we can make it happen where it suits the both of us. Because I know that with your support last year and being able to put that out on social media, the fact that you were supporting the suicide prevention talk, it definitely created a lot more people coming to that talk. So the church does have a big influence in that. And my belief moving forward is that it's all about collaboration. It's all about conversations, moving away from guilt, blame, shame, stigma, and more towards love, compassion, understanding, conversations.
Absolutely. We're all part of a web. And that lovely phrase in Irish, or Ska a Sheila a Warren Nadini, we live in each other's shadow, and the care that we offer each other is so important. No person is an island. We're all in this together.
We need each other. We're not meant to be on our own. We need each other. So again, Fintan, thank you so much. And and I hope to see you then at some point later on the year in Ennis as part of the talk.
And God bless all the good work in terms of mental health and the help you offer to people. And thanks so much, Sheila.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Fintan.
Thank you for watching Counsellor Convos with Sheila McMahon. If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel.